Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It is Professor Anime, and welcome back to another video. In today's video, guys, we are back yet again with another Promised Neverland chapter review, and we will be discussing chapter 37 in today's video. Now, with the Promised Neverland chapter 37, this chapter officially concludes the very first arc of the series. So, man, it's been one pretty good arc, I will say that. I mean, I'm very curious as to what we're going to get later down the line when it comes to the Promised Neverland, now that we actually have the kids finally escaping out of the orphanage, out of the facility that they were, you know, imprisoned at. I'm very curious as to how the series is going to develop from here on out. I don't really know what we can expect from this, other than just seeing how our characters are going to survive and whatnot. But from the very first arc, it was all about the escaping. To escape from the imprisonment in which they were in. But now that the fact that they have finally escaped, you know, the facility that they were in, now it's all about surviving. And while they think they have, you know, reached sanctuary, in actuality, they really haven't. Because the outside world is technically more dangerous than the world in which they know. Okay, because they have no idea what stands out before them out there. They don't. They only know what they have been encapsulated in. It's called the fear of the unknown. They have no idea how they are going to survive. That's the thing. They might have thought on how to, you know, actually escape the facility, but have they mentally prepared themselves for what lies ahead? That's the question you have to ask yourself there. Again, though, they probably said, you know what, fuck that. I just want to get the fuck out of here, you know. And I don't blame them. I don't blame them, because it's better to live a life, you know, with dangers outside that you really do not know of, rather than a life in which you are simply just brought up for a dissection from the very point of your birth. Now, this chapter was very simplistic. I mean, there wasn't really anything in this chapter that made us, you know, just take a step back and be like, oh, wait, we should really, you know, watch out for this. This could actually appear later down the line in the next coming, you know, chapters. This could be actually very important to the next coming arc within the series. But no. This chapter had only one purpose. It was to show that our characters have finally reached sanctuary. They have finally reached freedom. You know, they have been building up this plan for months on end, and they have finally executed it into the point in which we, the viewer, or reader in this case, I guess you can say, and also our cast of characters can just step back and take a break. You know, and just, you know, celebrate in the moment of what they have accomplished, you know. And I like that part. I like that part. It didn't really directly lead into something that we can expect into the next, you know, arc, but it did give us just, you know, a backup pedal into which we can just, you know, relax and just see what the next chapter will deliver for us. So I like endings like that, because it just gives us a moment to step back and just see where the story is going to go from here. Because if it was to just, if the chapter was just to just stop at a cliffhanger in which, you know, we can already see what's going to happen in the next coming arc, then there will be no surprise, you know. I'd rather just take one chapter in which we can just take a step back, you know, relish in the moment, and then in the very next chapter be surprised as to what's going on there. Because if we were just to completely, you know, just go over one arc and then ultimately lead up into the very next one, you know, we can already have a grand idea as to what is going on. But just like our characters, we should not know what exactly is about to go down, you know. It just kind of adds in a little bit immersion for the reader, just in my personal opinion. But, I mean, hey, that's just at least my standpoint. Now, two things that we actually get reveals in with this chapter as well, not only as, you know, this chapter was to serve its purpose as to show us that, you know, our characters have finally reached sanctuary, but it also gave us two reveals, and that is, we get introduced to one new character called Leslie. Now, really quick, Leslie apparently is a friend of Isabella. that she met in the orphanage. Because as we know, usually mamas, just like Miss Crone, were actually children in the facility as well. And if they were not consumed, they would, however, actually, be educated as to how they will become members within this society as well in order to raise up their own livestock of their very own. Now, I'm not exactly sure if this actually partakes to all girls. I mean, we really don't know if there are any, if men have roles within this facility at all. I mean, we do know that, there is the grandmother who we vaguely have gotten, information on. And then we also have mamas, just like Isabella and Miss Crone. And there's various others as well. So, I don't know. So, there's just a few questions there as to what is the exceptions of the men, what is the exceptions of the women, stuff revolving around that nature. But anyway, that's just something that I thought that was kind of interesting that I just wanted to take a few, nitpicks at. But anyway, next reveal that we see in this chapter is that apparently Ray is actually the son of Miss Isabella, which is very interesting. And I also am very interested in this if this is implying that Isabella's friend, Leslie, because Leslie was a guy, I hope you guys picked up on that, I wonder if they actually mingled in the facility and actually, Ray is actually the spawn of them. Honestly, I have no idea if Leslie and Isabella had a child named Ray, and that Ray is the Ray that we know, But, I mean, I really don't know if Ray is actually the child of Leslie and Isabella or not. But it does, sort of imply that in the chapter from what we see. And also, I'm very curious as to whether Leslie did in fact die, because Isabella did state that, at one point in her life, and we see this throughout the chapter, when, she was a child within the facility, she used to be very, very happy. She almost, in a way, used to be exactly like Emma, or, actually really resembles Emma in a way, actually, to be honest with you. It seems like she was very, full of vigor. She was very energetic, she was filled with life, and she even stated that she loved a lot, she had high hopes for the future, etc., etc. But ever since, I guess, in Isabella's time, when Leslie died, that is when she, started to lose all hope within herself, not find any meaning in life and everything, just going day by day just for the sake of, like, I guess, surviving in a way. Like, she kind of just gave up in all purpose of herself ever since Leslie died. But we don't really know how she died. It did seem like she was actually casted off aside, to be consumed by the demons from what it looked like, but at the same time, it also seemed like she was a mama at the time, around when Isabella was a mama. Very, confusing right there, but anyway, like, long story short, I'm just very curious if Leslie is actually, still alive or not, because we didn't really see a body. I mean, this did happen a long time ago, so there would be no reason for us to see a body, I guess you could say, but, it just kind of brings up the question, because if, the death wasn't particularly implied, or it was implied, obviously, just like how Norman's death was implied, but it wasn't shown, is what I'm trying to say. However, Miss Crone's death, that was implied, but because of the fact that, Norman's death wasn't really shown, and Leslie's death wasn't really shown, are they really dead, so to speak? If anything, is Norman still alive? I personally think that Norman is still alive, and he's definitely going to appear later on in the story, somewhere later down the line. I just don't know what Isabella did to him, because she did lead him into a room. We could assume that the room led to the demons or whatever, but for all we know, it could be something completely different. And from also what we see in this chapter, it almost seems like her whole personality takes like a whole 180, and, you know, from what we saw in the beginning, you know, she, you know, used to love, be full of vigor within her, you know, day-to-day life as a child within the facility, but ever since then, you know, the death of Leslie, apparently, you know, she has completely gone, you know, just, you know, like emotionless, so to speak. But by the end of this chapter, we see that, you know, she is actually caring for these children. She has been bringing them up ever since, you know, the beginning of when she was a mother. You know, she knows that she's not a real mother, but at the same time, she still feels like one at heart because she's been with these kids for so long. And she even tells herself that I wish I could have loved you normally. And that's amongst the group with her son, Ray. At least as far as what the, you know, the chapter is telling us, that Ray's actually the son of Isabella. You know, it's just something that's like, damn, like, it hits home. It does. That is something that is going to be very, very neat to see. I'm very looking forward to seeing what the author is going to come up with next, especially when it comes to this whole survival arc, because if you can make it an escape, you know, arc entertaining, you know, or just even an arc of escaping something, let alone, you know, that is pretty good work. I like how they executed that. But here is where the real test begins, because now you have built your story on, you know, and from the ground up on, you know, this, you know, sort of escaping plan, okay? Now, you have finally gotten your boots off of the first arc, okay? But what's going to begin now in your second arc? How exactly are you going to top this compared to what you know, started your series with? So there's the question. There's the question. So I'm very curious as to where the Promised Neverland is going to go from here on out. But nonetheless, I'm glad that you guys are enjoying the series, and I'm enjoying it as well. And I'm glad that you guys are enjoying the reviews as well. A few of you have been messaging me on Twitter, saying, hey, when is this review going to be up? Like, I like that. I like that. Please do that more, because that gets me more motivated in order to actually, you know, pump out a review. But yeah, guys, thank you all for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Thank you all for watching.